get to the point. There's not many words that rhyme with joint. Writing songs is hard. So welcome to Gear Wizard TV. Say welcome to Gear Wizard TV. One more time. Welcome to Gear Wizard TV. Fuck it, let's light up. Let's light up indeed, everybody. Abba Zabba, you my only friend. Welcome to Gear Wizard TV, where tonight, among other things, we are going to talk about Half Baked. JD and I watched Half Baked recently, and tonight we're going to go over it with you and see what you thought or what we thought, and maybe tell you a few things about the movie you don't know. But before we do that, let me introduce my main man, my little buddy, your friend and mine. It's JD.
Thank you, my friend. I'm happy to be here. Is my mic working though?
Oh yeah, sounds
All
great.
right, good.
Aces.
Happy to be here as always. And what are you smoking tonight?
What am I smoking tonight? Oh my God. I wish I could share smell with you.
I wish that too.
Uh,
That technology was supposed to exist by now, right? Smell-o-vision? We were promised.
like this is not the best smelling weed I've ever had, but it's up there. And it's a new grower to me. I don't believe I've had any of their stuff before. It's all Bliss Cannabis is our grower. And we have something this week called Blue Cheese. It's another grower though that does living soil, no pesticides, very small batch, like most of what you run into up here.
Does it smell like blue cheese?
It smells like blueberries
Okay.
with just a little bit of that cheesy funk, but not much.
Okay.
Uh,
And not really a combination that I would.
no. Now, which I was kind of expecting when I picked it up at the dispensary. Like, wait, is this going to smell like some good old stinky blue cheese? But no, it reminded me a lot of that blueberry muffin,
Oh, nice.
which I still have a tiny little bit of, by the way. But we're saving that for special case. Should be coming back. The guy said that he is going to put it in his regular grow rotation now.
Nice.
Tonight, I did bring out a little bit of vintage paraphernalia as well. So those of you that grew up in the 70s, you might remember ceramic bongs.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't grow up in the 70s, but I had friends with older brothers because those things do look.
These are hard to come by these days,
Oh,
especially real ones from the 70s, because I think a lot of them got broke.
I think that's a safe bet.
But yeah, I had to bring out the Wizard.
Is there a reason why they stopped making them?
Preference, I think, especially these metal bowls that we used to use back in the day just don't smoke as well as glass. I think glass in the long run probably a little cheaper to make, and a lot more creativity at the end of the day.
Right.
Oh, that is so tasty.
Tastes like foot cheese.
No, it really does. It tastes a lot like blueberries. It's got a very nice fruity blueberry scent. There's not much of the cheese in there.
That's good.
Which is kind of a shame because I do love a good stinky cheese weed.
Do you like stinky cheese? Like, are you a stinky cheese person? Soft, stinky, veiny cheese?
Small doses.
Okay.
Small doses, yes. Especially a blue cheese, Roquefort. Oh, I'm drawing a
I'm a
blank on the other one.
I'm a no doses tolerance for those types of cheeses. I suppose I might like one at some point, but it's been a
Well,
while since I've tried one.
why not big on the stinky cheese, the moldy cheese,
Yeah.
but I don't want a lot of it. I don't want it often, but I do, especially with wings. And keep your ranch. I would prefer some blue cheese dressing with my wings.
I feel like most blue cheese dressing like doesn't even have any blue cheese in it though.
No, but I want the good stuff
You do. You
with the
want okay.
big
See,
chunks.
I like the fake blue cheese dressing. The blue cheese dressing that might just be ranch that they like wave a piece of blue cheese over at some point. It's like tastes like ranch but not quite ranch.
No, no, give me the good stuff.
Yeah. You can have it.
Oh, I brought a lighter tonight.
What you got?
We had our lighter discussion the other
Yeah,
day.
I'm assuming it's a Bic.
No, Raw has come out with a new lighter.
Oh.
Uh, of course, being specifically made for stoners, as most things Raw makes
Yeah.
are. So this is the Raw Phoenix. See, it's semi-bic shaped. It is a little thinner.
Got a
Doesn't
push
have that.
button?
It is. It is electric with refillable butane though. It is butane that's refillable, but it's got the electric spark. Uh, because as Josh was pointing out, when you use one with a flint, you are spraying flint all over your weed, and in the long term, that might not be the best thing for you.
I guess that's true.
So health-wise, I suppose there's something for that.
Yeah, I don't know about the long-term studies that have been done to show the effects of flint.
But then again, the butane's probably going to kill us all anyway.
Something's gonna do it.
So then you get this little cool thing where there's a push button here, and you push up. I don't know if you can see that there.
I can
It's got a
see something.
windscreen, which of course you can't really see because of the flame. But
Yeah, I can't tell.
yeah, there's a windscreen there.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, neat.
Or if you push it the other way,
Wait, what is that? Poker?
it's a poker.
Nice.
Gotta
All
have
right, that's pretty neat.
gotta have a
You know,
poker when you're rolling your own.
I was wondering where can we really go with lighter technology at this point, but that's pretty innovative.
A poker.
Yeah. Well, and like have you seen a lighter with an adjustable windscreen like that before?
No, this was my first adjustable windscreen.
Yeah. So they're just innovating all around.
That's what Josh do. That is what Josh do. And supposedly there's already a V2 in the works. I sent him a message the other day trying to get in on a deal where he's going to send out sample packs. They're looking at making some changes to the new raw ethereal papers already. And he was going to send out sample packs that were half the new version of the paper and half the old version. So you could compare.
Oh, very cool. Do you know Josh? Like
Oh, I
personally?
know. No.
Okay.
No, I wish. Seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Weed royalty.
But no, I do not. I do not know the legend.
Someday.
I did read a bit of weed news this week
Oh, do share.
that I thought was interesting. U.S. marijuana consumers have spent more than $4.1 billion on pre-rolls.
On pre-rolls, I thought you were going to say something like 4.1 billion total in the last whatever. So
The
over
last year and a half.
in the last year and a half
Yes.
on pre-rolls,
On
4 point
pre-rolls.
4 point how many billion?
4.1.
Oh wow.
So they say it is now 15.9% of the cannabis market is pre-rolls.
And yeah, it makes me remember when like back when I was in high school, way before legalization was ever even something that was thought of uh, or taken seriously. But like we all kind of knew that someday it'll be legal. And I was like, what's that going to look like? Are you just going to go to the convenience store and order a pack of like Marlboro Greens? And like,
So,
is that what it's going to look like? Um, but the pre-roll market increasing, like you're saying it is making me think like, yeah, kind of,
oh,
we are,
eventually, I totally believe it will. Yeah.
yeah,
And it would not surprise me if they were, in fact, Marlboros.
yeah. It's almost shocking that I bet you Philip Morris has like the designs ready. Like
Oh,
they
you know.
have like they
You
know
know.
exactly what they're gonna call it and how they're gonna brand it and what it's gonna look like, so that like the moment that they can, like the assembly line just gets going.
And on the one hand, it's like, yay. And on the other hand, I'm not down with that. Like, fuck those people.
Of course.
And I like Lydia's idea. I want to go to the farmer's market
Yes.
and I want to buy weed. But not everybody can do that. So,
Right. I was gonna
yeah.
say, there's people who live hundreds of miles from a farmer's market, and if they could at least just go and buy some kind of weed to help them out with whatever ailments they've got going on in life or problems they're looking to get away from, then good for them.
Although, do they? I mean, surely you could find a farmer's market in New York City. I have to believe. I went to a farmer's market in Bucharest, which is a big city. I
I
mean,
mean, sure, I wouldn't say maybe nobody's hundreds of miles from a farmer's market, but there are plenty of people that 10 miles might as well be hundreds of miles.
well, you got a point there. Now, here's what's really funny. Almost half of the pre-roll market for the first half of 2024 was infused pre-rolls.
What does that mean?
So the pre-roll is a high percentage of flour,
Oh,
but then they will add in the weakest ones will just have some keef added in. Some of them will actually put some concentrate in there.
oh, okay.
Uh, I have had them that had pieces of uh,
Moon rocks.
yeah, moon rocks. They break up moon rocks and sprinkle that with the weed, and then spray the cone with a little bit of hash oil and roll it in keef, so it
Cool.
was almost encrusted.
Now, do you think that that's a novelty to some extent? Like, because is everything actually hitting your system like to the extent that it sounds like it would?
I mean, it yes, it
Okay,
will fuck you up. Uh,
good to know.
it is much more powerful, and you definitely do feel it.
Mhm.
And there are people, I think you're going to see a spectrum where there are people who smoke those frequently. Geez, when I was in town for Fantastic Fest, one of the people I was hanging out with, at least for that week, at least half of what he smoked were infused.
Wow.
And then there's people like me who every once in a while will have one, but I don't need to be that high that
Mhm.
often. I think it's great if you're in a crowd, you're sharing.
Right.
For
Yeah.
for me again, because we all have our own little preferences. But
But now your tolerance would have to be pretty high to just smoke, you know, a few
well,
of
and
those to the head.
there's a point at which I don't know about you, but there's a point at which I just can't get any higher. This is as high as I'm going to be. I can keep smoking, but I'm not going to get any higher.
Yeah, I'll just pass out. That's what happens to me when I get to that point. Like if there's a point where I'm as high as I could be if I'm awake. That threshold that does seem to be a pretty high point though, because I take a lot of edibles, and so so I can
See, I
I
got to
don't
be
want to
careful.
I don't want to push the limit. Yeah,
Edibles are the ones that will put me down.
sure.
What's the strongest edible you've had?
Oh, ever?
Yeah.
Maybe 500 milligrams.
Damn.
Yeah, it was. And I don't know. This was homemade, so I don't think that there was any way to know for sure how strong it was. This was a couple decades ago now, but just comparing it in my head to you know, like I know what 50 milligrams feels like. I know
Yeah.
what 100 milligrams feels like. I know what 250. But this was a whole different level of at the like it was the first time that I ever learned in my life that weed can do things to you that you don't think it can do to you. Like it felt like more than weed. Like it was the first time where I was ever like, I think I'm tripping. Like I think that I'm beyond high. So
Oh yeah, you can definitely hallucinate. It
yeah,
takes a lot,
yeah,
but you can get there.
you can, you can, and I've been there, a few times, several times since then. But that was the first time, and still I think the highest. So yeah, because the only dosed, like labeled, the highest labeled thing I ever took was 250, and that was too much. I top out at 50.
Yeah.
I like a smaller edible. I like a 10 milligram edible, sometimes a 5 milligram edible. I like just for normal usage being in that range. If I'm gonna go higher than 20, it's like don't bother me.
Yeah, I used to take a 20 every night before bed.
Yeah,
And that was
you slept the sleep of
a
dreamless
good
sleep.
level. During the day, like see, my other problem is like it's candy, and if I'm not careful, I'll eat two or three.
Yeah. Well,
So yeah, the
especially if you're already high when you dip in.
those 5 milligrams are great for that because you can have a couple.
Yeah.
Like that's yummy. I want another one
Hmm.
because they. I don't know if you've been to Colorado or any place that had these. Colorado had a brand called Chiba Chew,
I don't think I've had Chiba Chew.
and their
Sounds good.
main product was it was a fucking Tootsie Roll. That's what it was.
Oh, nice.
It was a weed infused Tootsie Roll.
Okay.
Uh, oh god, they were so good.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
is it like the which size Tootsie Roll? Because Tootsie Roll
oh, you
famously
could
has
get them
like
in all different sizes.
okay. And was it actually like branded Tootsie Roll or was
Oh
it
no,
just
no, it was
okay?
branded Chiba Chew,
Gotcha.
and it wasn't shaped like a Tootsie Roll, but it was fucking Tootsie Roll.
It had that same.
Yeah, it was exactly a Tootsie Roll.
And Tootsie is that chocolate flavored?
Yes,
It is. Okay.
absolutely. You can get them in flavors that I don't like,
Right.
the flavored Tootsie Rolls, but
You don't like those?
no, the chocolate Tootsie Roll is delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of miss Chiba Chew.
Well, I'm going to Vegas this weekend. I'll see if Chiba Chew is a thing that they have there. I will definitely come back and report on the dispensary situation in Vegas.
Yeah, I got a feeling Vegas is going to be one of those places where I don't like the dispensaries necessarily,
Yeah.
but I'm sure they're a trip to go to.
I mean, I'm assuming that it'll have like a slot machine in it or 10. I feel like if it's on the strip in Vegas, like I haven't been to Vegas. I've only been to Vegas once, and it was 15 or 20 years ago, so memories are hazy. But I feel like I remember going into a CVS on the strip and there being like slot machines at the CVS.
Oh, dude, all over town.
Okay.
Yeah, even if you get away from the strip.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, because the locals don't go to the strip. They go to the grocery store and play slot machines. They go
Yeah.
Like they're everywhere. It's freaky weird.
I wonder how many meetings a day Gamblers Anonymous has in Las Vegas. Gotta be 100.
But God, I haven't been to Vegas since the '90s.
Oh wow. I feel like it's completely different and also exactly the same at the same time.
Yeah, it's
That's how I
gotten a lot
think.
more family friendly. I know.
Yeah, they don't
It's
have that
weird.
catchphrase. I don't think they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas
Oh,
anymore.
they still do.
Oh, do they still say
Yeah.
that? Okay.
But there's also places you can take your kids that aren't circus now.
Uh,
Because the first time I went to Vegas, this was back in the '70s, and I'm 12, 13 years old, maybe a little older. I mean, I've been 15 at this point. Uh, and we went to Colorado, was where we were supposed to go, but we went to Colorado Springs, and people are fucking rude there, and pissed my mom and dad both off, and they were like, "Fuck it, we're leaving here. Let's go to Vegas." So they took two 15-year-old kids to Vegas, and at the time, the only thing there was you could do if you were under 21 in Las Vegas was Circus,
right.
which, to be fair, was fucking blast.
I bet, and I did go there the one time I went to Vegas, and I bet it's still there.
I bet it is. Last time I went, it had fallen into some disrepair, I feel.
Uh,
It felt like one of the scuzzier parts
uh,
of the strip.
that old Vegas feel,
Yeah.
Golden Nugget.
I actually stayed at the Nugget once in the
Did you really?
90s. Yeah. No, I take that back. I was still playing poker into the early 2000s, and I made one or two more trips to Vegas
Did
in
you
the
make a
early
lot of money playing
2000s.
poker?
I wouldn't say I made a lot of money, but I kind of sort of covered my trip.
All right. You know, if I could make that happen, if I could break even in Vegas, I will consider that a huge win.
Oh yeah,
And
but
I'm not
like I
planning on it.
I was there for 3 days, and I think I played 60 hours of poker, which is why I quit playing poker.
That's a lot of poker.
Yeah, I have an addictive personality, and
I've noticed. Same.
yeah, I quit playing, quit watching, gave it
Yeah,
up.
completely. No interest. Or just
And
you know what you need to do.
I couldn't be as high as I want to be and play poker, to be fair.
That is fair.
Speaking of high, how high? We
That'll
should
have to
talk
be.
about Half Baked.
We should. You said how high, and I'm high. And I briefly thought, oh, is that the movie that we watched? Did we? Because there is a movie called How High that I have vague memories of. That is not what this is.
I don't think I've seen How High.
I feel like it has maybe Method Man and Red Man in it. If it's what I'm thinking it is. All right. So
So,
this
when was the
so
last time you saw this?
yeah, I was just trying to remember that. This is a movie that it's been it had been 20 years. No. Yes. About 20 years, maybe 22 years, over 20 years. Oh my god. But it is a movie that I used to watch all the time. It was a specific friend's house that we all hung out at and got high in every single day, and I think I saw it probably, I mean, easily 20 or 30 times back in the day. So this was fun. It had been, more than 20 years, and I think I said as soon as it was over, I was like, that was exactly how I remembered it.
It's funny is I don't remember the last time I smoked a joint rolled like that, like without a crutch and
uh,
well, hey, I can't roll freehand like that
You
nearly as
can't.
well. No, I mean I can roll one if I have to. I made myself get that good, but most of the time I use a bamboo mat, kind of like a sushi mat,
Right.
and it works out much better for me.
When was the last time you had seen this? Ah, there it is. Abba
Not
Zaba.
quite that long, but it'd been a while. I forgot the giant Abba.
Yeah,
I think everybody remembers the Abba, you my only friend line.
that's the one that I had remembered. And I've never had an Abba Zaba, ever. I
So
don't
they had,
think you can
by the
get
way,
them around here.
before we move on from this, they got a lot of kickback from the studio not wanting the scene to be at the front of the movie with the kids getting high. And they finally had to do a test screening. Uh, they talked to them and they'll just let us do one test screening and
Uh-huh.
see how it plays. And people went nuts. And so they got to leave it in.
And see, that's at the very end of the movie, they do like a little PSA where they're like, "Hey kids, don't get high." And that's my theory is that they had to put that in there because the studio was like, "We need to tell kids not to get high."
So I had to have some Abba with the movie.
What does it
Mm.
taste like?
Have you never had one?
I've never had one.
Oh, it's delicious. It's
I
like a
don't even.
vanilla taffy,
Oh,
but like they made it double wide and then they put a layer of peanut butter in it and closed it up.
yeah, I mean that sounds good. I don't
But
even think it's something that I could get around here. Is it? I don't ever
they're
remember
not
seeing
easy to
one.
find. You got to go in the weird little candy stores or
Okay.
the weird little those weird little convenience stores.
I know a couple places to try.
The Flag store in Austin.
That was actually when I said I know a couple places to try. That was one of the ones that I was thinking.
That would be a place I would check out.
Okay.
Yeah, if anybody here has never seen this movie, so Dave is now telling us about buying weed in a bodega in New York City. Very little of this movie was actually made in New York, though. Most of it is in Toronto.
The New York of the North, the further north.
They shot a few establishing shots in New York City, but there's a couple times that you can kind of catch that it's really Toronto if
Now,
you
is
know
this
what to
really a
look
thing
for.
though in New York in the '90s? Like
Oh yeah,
going these bodegas sold weed.
yes, and loose cigarettes is a big thing at bodegas.
Ah, yes, I know about
You
the
can buy
loose.
a cigarette.
Yep.
Uh,
Used to be a quarter. Now maybe they're $1.
okay, as you watch in this apartment, you just saw them, and you will still occasionally see them. There's a row of lockers
I didn't.
that look like old high school lockers.
Uh,
Those lockers and a lot of the art on the walls in their apartment is actually from the Beastie Boys studio because the director of this movie is married to a Beastie Boy.
which one?
Adam, I think.
Is he the one who died?
I, you're embarrassing me.
Sorry, not up
I
there.
am not up on my Beastie Boys lore.
Here we go.
I'm a metalhead. I appreciate the Beastie Boys, but they're not my thing.
Beastie Boy married to director of Half Baked. Director Tamara Davis married Mike D.
Oh, it was Mike D. I'm sorry. I
Yes.
thought it was Adam.
That's super cool, and I'm surprised now that the Beastie Boys weren't in the movie. Yeah, it was Adam who died in 2012. Oof. Oof.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Billy Bob Thornton. Billy Bob Thornton must have been like the young hot celebrity when this was made too.
I don't know about hot.
Popular. The young popular celebrity. Hey, he was married to Angelina Jolie at the time, probably.
Don't make him hot. Makes him crazy.
Yeah, makes him something.
Good old Jim
And this,
Brewer.
I was gonna say Jim Brewer, who I believe is like a conservative comic now, right?
Beyond, yeah, he seemed to really go overboard uh, during the pandemic.
Yeah,
During the pandemic, he was one that the pandemic messed up a lot of people in various ways.
that it did.
And, the more I thought about it, because I thought about it for a while over the last few days. He was never all that funny to begin with. Like he had a couple of bits, he had a couple of things,
Mm-hmm.
but really it was, hey, look, I'm stoned and I'm a goat.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only things that I can think of when I think of Brewer are this movie and Goat Boy. And
Which was funny once or twice.
yeah, I think he was good at being the stone guy.
Tracy
And
Morgan.
yeah, Tracy Morgan, there you go, R.I.P. And Samson, is that Chappelle playing
That
Samson?
is Dave Chappelle, yes.
Okay, I thought so. I was not 100% sure.
That is Dave Chappelle. Uh,
That's like seeing shades of his show. I feel like that Samson character
they
reminds me
did
of something he would have done on Chappelle's show.
they considered Snoop for this role, but I don't think he was going to be available quite as much as it would take for this role.
He was too high.
But his little drop in that he does is perfect anyway.
It is perfect. And this is the whole plot of this movie, uh, such as it is. Like, I was wondering if it was gonna make if like, because I was so high every time I used to watch this, so I was like, yeah, like, I wonder if maybe I'm like forgetting some details about. But no, it just he kills a horse, goes to prison, and then
Harlan Williams is like the opposite of Jim Brewer. I think he is tragically underappreciated and underutilized.
what's he done the past 20 years?
Not much, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, because he was huge right around this movie. This movie and there's something about Mary.
Which
Like,
he's only in for
one, two
5
punch.
minutes,
Yeah, but they're the best 5 minutes of the
but
movie.
he steals the movie. Yes,
Right.
he's the best thing in that movie. I've seen some of his stand up, and it's pretty good. I
It's
really
not
like him.
super right wing.
Not Harlan, no.
Good.
Well, I haven't seen him lately. By the way, I miss the Funyuns. That's always my favorite part of the "What do we want from the Munchies?" is when he ends it with "and some Funyuns."
Yes.
Because this is one of my go-to, like, if I have the Munchies and I see Funyuns, I really want
I
Funyuns.
might actually have a bag of Funyuns.
It is also, unfortunately, one of the only snack foods that is semi-banned from my house.
How'd that happen?
Tara cannot stand the smell
So
of Funyuns.
I've got them right here.
So, and considering everything else she tolerates, when I have so many friends who can't smoke weed in the house,
Yeah, give her the Funyun free zone.
she can have the Funyun free zone. I don't need that many Funyuns anyway.
So in 2024, which is this year, Harlan Williams was in a movie called Half Baked Totally High. Did you know that there was a Half Baked sequel that came out this year?
I did not. Which says to me they didn't market it properly.
I don't know that this got marketed at all.
Well, that's the problem.
It does not look like it was well received at all.
Well, maybe it's because they didn't market it to the proper crowd.
Hmm.
Or maybe it sucks.
I think that one. Where he's talking about what's going to happen to him in prison.
Oh, you feel so sad for him.
You do. He was just trying to feed a horse.
I would have been mad at him had he not get arrested, though, because he fed the horse all of the munchies.
He did.
Now
And
I've
that
got
was the real crime there.
now I've got the munchies, and there are no munchies.
No, no, no more prison love. And so, of course, as I'm munching Funyuns, of course, they decide that the only way to get him out of prison is to start selling weed. And so this is the love story that's happening here is really the thinnest love story that I think I've ever seen. She is there visiting her father, who's a drug dealer. She hates drugs. She's about to get in the car with him and watch as all he and his friends do with each other is talk about how they're smoking pot. But then later on in the movie, she's like, "You smoke pot?" It bothered me then, and it bothers me now.
She's not very observant, you might say.
No. And she falls in love with him because, you know, because he's the lead of the movie.
Exactly. And that's her job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, by far the weakest
Yeah.
weakest part of the movie.
The movie absolutely did not pass the what's the test?
Oh, the Betchel.
The Bechdel test. There isn't even a second female character in the movie
Yes,
for her
there
to talk
is.
to. Who?
Dude.
Why am I?
Think about it.
Why?
Jan. You totally forgot Jan.
I totally forgot Jan.
That's okay.
I'm
She
still
is a
forgetting Jan.
she's a fairly minor character
Oh, Jan, right, of course. Okay, the one who leaves the
from
store
the
with
record store.
okay,
Yes,
yes. Right. Yeah,
Laura
maybe
Silverman.
they could have had the two of them talk about weed or something that wasn't a guy.
That is the wonderful Laura Silverman.
Any relation to Sarah Silverman?
Yes, it's her sister.
Really?
But I was oddly enough a fan of Laura Silverman first. Did you ever see Dr. Katz?
Yes, but it's been 100 years.
Well, you remember the secretary. She was half the show.
It's been 100 years. I guess I don't.
Yeah, she was half the show.
Yeah.
And Laura Silverman was the voice actor.
Nice.
For Laura, Dr. Katz's secretary, receptionist. Very sarcastic.
They look like sisters. I don't know how I'm just learning this today.
Yeah, for somebody who grew up with a dad who sold pot, this girl is incredibly oblivious.
Well, especially because she says she hates it so much.
Exactly.
And that all of her other boyfriends have chosen drugs over her.
Maybe it's because you can't smell.
Maybe.
And my favorite interaction.
Yes.
Janitor.
Janitor.
Scientist. So when you were younger, did you notice how often Dave would break the fourth wall, at least with a look? You know, he never talks directly to you except as a voiceover,
Yes.
but he will
Uh,
look directly at you.
yeah, and that was a big thing back in like the late 90s, I
It
feel
works in
like.
this movie though because it opens with the voiceover and it has the voiceover going.
Right. Yeah,
So
he's
I
talking to the audience the whole time.
so I feel like it works for him to give you the look every once in a while
Hmm.
as opposed to it just being kind of a hammy.
And they don't go overboard with it.
No, no, it is only used every so often.
Yeah, he's not Deadpool.
Not real weed, by the way.
I don't think so.
Uh, the director's mother has one of those in her house, and she's scared to death that if the police ever come to her house, they will arrest her.
A fake pound of weed.
Yeah,
Well, why does she still have it?
because it's her daughter's movie uh, thing, you know. And I mean,
Mom.
I would totally have one of those.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be afraid that I was gonna get arrested for it.
So the director, Tamra Davis, by the way, also, I mean, she's done a lot, and I don't want to underemphasize that, but just two movies before this, Billy Madison,
Classic.
which was a huge classic, but older than that, CB4.
Oh wow. Also a huge classic.
She got her start in music videos, which I think really made the move to CB4 probably pretty simple.
Here's
Because
a
it's,
trivia question. What came first, CB4 or Fear of a Black Hat?
you know, I'm not sure. I want to say Fear of a Black Hat.
That's what I want to say too. Let's see. Because that was the one that I always watched more than CB4, but they were both good. Fear of a Black Hat, 1993. CB4, 1993. Oh, wait. Now we're getting down to months then. Um, I didn't realize it was like a Dante's Peak, Volcano, Armageddon, Deep Impact type of thing with those two, where they came out the same year.
Synchronicity or something.
Or something. CB4 were released on March 12th.
Stephen Wright, who's almost solely a behind the scenes guy now.
Fear of Black Hat, January 24th. All right, January. So Fear of Black Hat beat it by 3 months. And yeah, Stephen Wright.
Here's a bit of trivia. I believe he is the only Oscar winner in this movie.
I'm trying to think of like when they have all the cameos. If maybe there was an Oscar winner in there, that's the only place I think there would have been.
I don't think
Willie
so.
Nelson has no Oscar. Bob Saget has no Oscar. Snoop Dogg. Does Snoop have like an Oscar for music? Maybe.
I don't think so, no.
What is Stephen Wright's Oscar for?
Short film. The Appointments of Dennis Jennings.
Huh. Never heard of it, but I do like Stephen Wright.
I haven't seen it in 30 years. I remember really liking it. But I love everything he did. I
Yeah,
just wish he had done more of it.
he was a funny guy. Is a funny guy. He's not dead. I don't think. I bought batteries, but they weren't included. Maybe one of my favorite Stephen Wright jokes. Well, he was in the Emoji Movie. Yeah, not doing a ton.
No, he does a lot of producing, I think. He's still in the creative. So while we're in a little downtime, while they're discussing whether or not they should sell this weed, uh, do
They
you
should.
ever
They
name
must.
your pipes, your bongs, your paraphernalia?
I do not. I don't know why I don't. Maybe because they tend to break so fast.
I
I know that
do,
you're a
but
big
they're
namer.
usually just very lazy, descriptive sort of names.
Yeah.
Unlike cars, which I actually give a name.
So like, I mean, I don't think it counts if you're just saying like that you name your bongs like the black one or like the tall one. Is that what you mean by lazy descriptive?
Well, almost. Like I had a bong with an Alice in Wonderland scene etched, sandblasted into it,
Uh,
and I that was Allison. That was the most creative name.
you called it Allison?
Allison,
Allison. Okay.
because Alice in
Alice in
Wonderland.
Wonderland.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Allison,
Yeah. I was
and
thinking
then
there was a character.
and
I
then
was
the
thinking of
space
Melissa.
bong, which
I
is
recall, Allison is not is isn't so lazy. I'm gonna
no,
give you a little bit of
that was
creative
the
points for
best one
that.
though.
Okay.
That yeah, that was. But otherwise, it's just like you know, the wizard. It's the wizard.
And what is the space bong?
Space bong is the one I was smoking a couple weeks ago. That honestly, I kind of sort of feel like it should have more of an IKEA based name because it always makes me think of like Swedish design.
Hmm.
It has a very Swedish design look. Like you would see that at IKEA or or one of those other Swedish design stores that were all the rage for a while back in the 90s, early 2000s, I think.
Yeah. Smoking Veden. That's thank you. You don't have to pay me any money for that.
I mean, it's awesome. It's my favorite bong I've ever had, but it looks very, very IKEA, very Swedish, I think.
Is it made of particle board?
No, no. I mean, it's well made. Stuff from IKEA is actually pretty well made. I have a bunch of it.
I do too. And IKEA is great because they have a range. If you want cheap particle board furniture that'll fall apart after you move a couple times, they have it. But if you want furniture that's built well and will last, they have that too. I
I
don't know if they
mean,
have like any heirloom quality stuff, but they do have
no, but the dining
well
room
made stuff.
table that we had for 15 years, we just gave away, and it's still in great shape.
Good.
That's a
So
piece of laminate came off one of the legs. But I mean, the top is all solid wood.
mm,
And that's our IKEA commercial for this week, folks.
yes, good meatballs too. All right, there.
I've
Put
never
this
had
on.
the meatballs.
You've never had the meatballs?
No, we never went to the restaurant, but the little store when you're walking out,
Yeah.
uh, oh God, I would buy so much chocolate flarn. Do you ever
Chocolate
have
flan?
flarn?
I
It's these
don't
weird
know.
little cookies they have in the store on the way out.
Huh.
And you get them in a big box. They're very thin, kind of crispy cookies called flarn.
Okay, I go to an IKEA pretty often, a couple times a year. So I
And
know and I can see the box you're talking about.
you
Like I
can
can
get different flavors of
get
flarn, but the
in my
chocolate
mind's
flarn,
eye. Yeah.
CHOKLID, chocolate. God damn, that stuff's good. Well, it was then. I don't know. It's been forever. And we're gonna talk to the girl calls us out of the blue because I guess Dave is so charming.
Yeah, no, he's so charming. He doesn't at all seem like a pothead, even though his friends were all super, super high when they got in the car and only talking about weed. But, you know, he's a man and she's a woman, and therefore they have to love each other.
She's a plot point in a movie.
She's a plot
I
point in a
think
movie.
totally helps there.
Yeah.
But again, that's not the point of the story. That's not what we all came for.
He got some booty. He got some booty. That does happen. This is where they go on their date for like $7.
Not counting the money he steals from the beggar.
Right.
So it's $8 plus I forget how much he stole.
I think it increases, doesn't it? Doesn't that like little
Yeah, when he takes the money from
yeah.
that guy, it goes up. I just don't remember how much. $3.50, I'm gonna say.
I think I roughly estimated this at around a $60 or $70 date if it was to happen nowadays though. And that's probably being
I feel like even at
generous.
that time, this was way underpriced.
Yeah. Because the two of them got ice cream. I mean
Well, they
now
just got one. They shared one ice cream,
but it was like a big one. It was like a
it
big
was
sundae.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah. That's $20 worth of ice cream in today's dollars. Maybe $8 worth of ice cream back then.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, now
He's
they have a
down to a
quarter,
quarter.
and he takes not much in there. All right, about
So
250,
no,
no,
no, it
about
was
350, 325. Yeah,
yeah.
but then they get that giant ice cream for $3. That's impressive. You don't really smoke weed, do you? I don't remember what they were talking about here.
Oh yeah, you don't really smoke, and her dad. And he makes her, or she makes him swear that he doesn't smoke weed.
Right, and that's gonna
And
get him
he
in trouble.
lies.
Yep. Does look like they did some wild stuff together, though.
I love that they basically shot the sex scene without it being in any way awkward for anyone to be in. It's just this nice little montagey.
Sorry,
Okay,
you were saying that they got what and whatever. Oh, hey, Jon Stewart.
yeah, here's our John Stewart.
That I think that the most shocking thing about watching this last week with you was seeing how young Jon Stewart was here, because it just got me thinking down a huge rabbit hole. Like I feel like Jon Stewart here is younger than I am now. He just looks so young.
I have been this guy.
The dude on the couch,
No, this guy.
Jon
The
Stewart. Yes.
the. Have you ever done this?
Oh God,
On
yes.
weed.
Yeah. And I'm not
This
too proud to admit that I've been this guy too. Hey, he just
this
shows
is
up.
this is our only confirmed actual marijuana in this movie.
Was it really? Of course it was.
Yes. Well, Tamra said she is pretty sure that this was not fake in this scene. And
Yeah.
all the other ones, of course, they are using They're using basically Hollywood weed,
Hmm.
which is some herbal blend. But she said she's pretty sure in this one. And she said while they're shooting it, all of a sudden, like the, the cops that were on set for some reason and security all started coming over. And she thought they were going to get busted.
Oh no.
But they just wanted his autograph.
Willie or Snoop?
Now, no, Snoop.
So she didn't confirm that Willie was smoking real weed though, because
She didn't deny it either. It did not come up.
yeah,
But she did talk specifically about the Snoop one. As in, she thought that that was real. My guess would be Willie's was also real, but
that's my guess as well. Just because it's hard to imagine Willie going anywhere without weed. Which one were they talking about here with the father?
oh, wanting to
She's the
bond with his
glaucoma
son.
smoker. Oh yeah.
And this is Gladys. I cannot remember her last name. She is in a lot of Canadian stuff, but my favorite thing of hers is from The Kids in the Hall. She
Oh
is
yeah.
one
You
one
said
of
that
the
she was the best.
main Helens, as in 40 Helens agree.
So this was my favorite scene back in the day. Fuck you. Fuck you. You're cool.
You're cool.
I'm out.
I still use that every once in a while, in fact.
Same.
And yeah,
Uh,
there's
Here's
Laura
the second female character.
Laura
Yes.
Silverman.
How could I forget a character with a? Does she have a line in the movie? I don't know that she has a line.
She does.
A line though, right?
No, a couple.
Okay. What are they?
Well, she's got one right here.
She says, "I will," or
No,
something like that.
she says I will. I
Right.
think that's I'm actually gay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Big old dyke.
Yeah, you're right. That was a good joke. Because he says, "Will you be my girlfriend?"
Spoiler, she is not actually gay.
She is Sarah's older sister. Gotta be.
I'm not sure, but probably.
Oh, more girls.
Well, but they're just set dressing.
Right.
Now, there are they don't speak much, but they have some amazing action scenes.
Yeah, you're right.
Samson's
He's got
Samson's
like
little
a
army.
yeah. It's like whatever James Bond movie that is that had all of the women
That was
henchmen.
that was Goldfinger, wasn't it?
Was it Goldfinger or was it Diamonds Are Forever?
Might have been that. Well, you're right. It might have been Diamonds. I can't remember. No, Goldfinger had the female pilot. Yeah, there's only one shot in here where Dave and Dave are both on screen at the same time. That was done with CGI. Like
Was it
that's
really done with CGI?
just that one scene. Well, not a CGI, but they do a split screen.
Gotcha.
That's just a stand-in,
Yeah,
of course.
that the old like Patty Duke show tricks.
This means some other guy had to get those cornrows.
Hmm. Yeah, it was Bambi. I mean, it was Diamonds Are Forever. Bambi and Thumper were the female sidekicks who did gymnastics and stuff. Hey, that's a good freeze frame there.
All by myself.
Tommy Chong is so good in this movie as his bodyguard. Yeah, maybe just don't use the soap as a microphone in the shower if you're so scared of this guy. There he is. There's Tommy.
Squirrel Master.
Have you tried their edibles that they market, that they make and market? I think
I
they make
have
them.
not. I have some of their rolling papers.
Nice. Yeah, I see the ads for their stuff all the time. I want to try them. I like those guys.
I would be interested to know how involved they actually are. It's not just
They at least do the
here
commercials.
we put our name on this.
I mean, I think that they at least own the company. Let's see. Cheech and Chong's Cruise Choose.
And Dave is mad because they have spent money that they should not have spent.
That's right. Every penny they make is supposed to be used to get their friend out of jail so he doesn't get raped in the shower. And here's Killer, the stoner dog. With a great origin story.
There is one accidental line in this movie that I may be the only person that laughs at it every time it happens.
Which is what?
Scarface has that thing where he always ends a sentence with B.
Yes.
And the I don't remember the exact line. It's like they killed Killer B.
Oh, Killer B.
Yeah, every time it gets me
Every
every
time.
time.
You think that was an accident, though? You don't think that
Oh,
they put that?
absolutely, because
Yeah.
he says B so often.
Right. Hey, there's Gene Garofalo. I don't know why I said it like that.
And a
Supposed to
very
do another
tiny
Garofalo.
dog. It's such a cute little tiny dog.
All right. Clearly, I forgot other women, but the women never talk to each other.
Oh no, absolutely not.
And who's this?
One of the Baldwins,
That's right. Yeah.
Steven, I think.
Yeah. I think he's the one from Usual Suspects. That is Steven. That might have come out the same year as this. He had he had one good year in the 90s.
He had sex with my mama.
What was the context for it saying pothead above his name?
Oh, when he was, some people are just regular potheads. They just like to smoke weed.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is where they have their confrontation. This is
Oh
where
yeah,
she entraps him. She sets him up. She finds a business card, and she orders weed, and then she goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe that you smoke weed, even though literally every time I've been around you, you've talked about smoking weed, and your friends are always high, and you definitely smell like weed." And now he's despondent because the love of his life, who he met yesterday. The timeline of this movie is pretty amazing. Like because he their friend kills the horse and then he's sentenced and in prison, I think, that very night. And I'm not saying that I expect any more realism than that from a stoner comedy either, but it's just pretty great the way that
yes it
they clearly
is.
don't care.
Clarence Williams III.
And Clarence Williams III was a great bad guy.
He's one
He
of the
just
best.
he had a face that he was like scary looking without being like effortlessly scary looking, I think. Like scary and cool at the same time.
Yeah, he does not play this character like he's in a comedy.
No, not at all.
He's evidently also very serious on set.
Yes.
Like there was no goofing around. There were no funny games when Clarence Williams III was on set.
Yeah, he played this character like he was in Scarface. Well, he's talking to Scarface. I think I forgot how much I loved Chappelle's Jamaican impression.
It is so bad.
It's like just somebody who the entirety of their knowledge about Jamaican culture comes from one or two Bob Marley videos, and that's it.
Well, the Rosses you see in the park.
Oh yeah. I can't seem to find if Cheech and Chong actually own this company.
Yeah, dude, you got to find you some Abba Zaba.
I do.
There was a little neighborhood corner store uh, in downtown Boulder.
Mhm.
It was about 2 blocks from my medical dispensary that I used to go to all the time. And they had Abba Zaba. So I would frequently go to the dispensary and then go get an Abba Zaba. And of course, I would go to the dispensary about once a week.
Why do more dispensaries not also sell candy and snacks? I wonder if there's a reason, some sort of legal reason why they can't. Because, like, imagine going to a dispensary, but then in the back room they have like a bin candy snack store, sell it by the pound,
It would be crazy.
right? And like sell it cheaper. Just
No, because
narrow
they don't want
profit
people
margin.
coming in here to buy that.
Well, you would have to,
They want you in and out. I guess I don't know.
in my mind, you couldn't go to the candy store unless you were buying weed. Or if you went to the candy store on its own, it was regular price. But if you were buying weed, the candy's
I will say this: they
50% off.
certainly ain't selling. No dispensary I've ever been in sold paraphernalia cheap.
Right.
Oh yeah, we got a pipe. Want to pay way too much for one?
But that's out of necessity because the only people who are buying paraphernalia at the dispensary are people who don't have any paraphernalia. I think, anyways, people who don't, and they just need some on the spot to go smoke. So that's you know
Well, except
whatever
some of them
the
will
law of
sell.
economics is there.
Some of them sell some crazy shit.
Yeah. Oh, why are they sad now? What's happening?
Cause Killer's dead.
Oh, killer.
All right, we got off topic there. Yeah,
We
Killer's
did.
dead. They
R.I.P.
buried him under that tree.
Yeah,
And Jim Brewer's going to tell us Killer's alternate history here.
that's right. Do you remember the history?
His
He
mom
was
was
the
a
run.
three-legged bitch.
Yeah.
Killer was always ashamed of that. So all of these shots were done in Super 8 to make him look authentically old and
Yeah, this gets dark here.
yeah,
You get into dog fighting.
get into dogfighting.
And a couple of these shots really look like these dogs are hurting each other. Or maybe it was done tricky. Maybe it was like a sound editing thing. 'Cause that shot didn't look that bad.
Yeah, they're acting dogs. They're working dogs.
All right.
She talked about it a little bit.
Did you watch the full commentary track?
Yeah, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, she talked about a little bit that it was kind of uncomfortable for her because it was scary.
Yeah.
But they're working dogs.
Yeah, as long as they're working. As long as they're on the clock.
They're movie dogs. They're trained.
I love how the guy on the couch like gets up, goes to the bathroom for the first time in however many months or whatever he's been there, and then just gives them really, really bad advice that they take.
But 90% of his lines are said while he is off screen peeing
Yes.
loudly, loudly and longly,
See, look at those eyes on Clarence Williams III.
while he is wearing curlers in his hair.
Did you grow up watching the Mod Squad? I've never seen an episode.
Yes, I did.
Was he like scary looking on that too when he was younger, or no?
Definitely, you wouldn't want to fuck with him. Yeah, he was he was serious. I mean, he was playing a hippie who was a cop. Cop who was a hippie. Yeah, it was weird.
Was his
And I
name
haven't
Huggy
seen
Bear? Is that where
I
that
haven't
comes
seen
from?
it in forever. No, Huggy Bear is totally different. That was from the TV show Beretta
What was
with
his name on
what's his name that killed that lady, Robert
Oh,
Blake.
Robert
Robert
Blake.
Blake.
Yeah.
No, that was Huggy Bear. That was Anthony Fargas, Antonio Fargas,
He was cool looking.
who I also knew from. Uh, he was on All My Children, the soap opera I was hooked on for many years in college and afterwards.
Were you really?
Oh God, yeah.
Okay, in Mod Squad, his name was Lincoln Hayes.
Yes,
Link. Yeah.
I would have said Link. I did not remember the whole name.
Which soap opera did you just admit to being hooked on?
All
All My
My
Children?
Children. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We would watch it in the dorm at lunch,
Really?
in the lobby, like a bunch of people would watch All My Children. Then I never stopped. I started before I got to college, but
Is that one still on?
sadly, no. I mean, I haven't watched it.
Well, I know that there are a few of them that are still going, which I have to imagine even those will be gone soon though. Like it's amazing how long some of those soap operas lasted though. 40, 50, 60 years.
There's a point in my life where I realized I was behind because I would record it on VHS.
Uh,
Because I went at home at lunch. I was like, well, I guess Saturday I'm gonna sit here and watch All My Children all day.
oh,
And I
it's yeah,
and I heard myself say that out loud, and that's when I stopped watching it.
fair. It went off the air back in 2011.
Which was dumb because you could miss a whole week of soap opera and not necessarily miss too much.
Right, wasn't that like by design? I mean, weren't they kind of just made to drop in and drop out of?
Yeah, sort of. And they were going to tell you what had happened and over and over again, and not much happened.
So General
'Cause,
Hospital is still around.
I mean, shit, they were making, that was one of the 60-minute ones, too. So
Mm,
they were doing 5 hours of TV a week. Had some pretty good storylines for a while.
I bet.
A little nod to dead presidents.
John Singleton.
John Singleton movie, indeed. Just cause.
This heist goes off so poorly. The dude on the couch was like, "Yeah, just break in. Just break in. It'll be a piece of cake." And they were like, "Okay, we'll do that." Which that actually might be one of the more realistic parts of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're just a pothead hanging out with a whole bunch of potheads and somebody has an idea, usually you just go ahead and try.
But no, the fact that it goes wrong immediately, the fact that
Well,
absolutely
yes,
nothing works,
right,
and they only get as far as they do because this guy thinks it's funny.
right, correct.
I know who those guys are. Fuck it. Let's watch them for a while.
Yeah. And then he has an orgasm. I was trying to look at the other strains that they were showing it. Maui Wowie, Yukon Gold, Golden Tie, a lot of classics. Tibetan Buddha. I don't
I
know if
want
I ever had that
that.
one. Yeah, that was a good one.
I don't know.
Oh.
I want it. I've never. Honestly, I don't know that I've ever heard of it, but I want it just from the name.
Then he starts doing mimery or whatever the art of being a mime is called.
I spent 2 years trying to find Maui Wowie in Colorado before I finally got my hands on some.
Really?
Yeah, like dispensaries that would say they had it and then they didn't.
Uh,
Oh, we forgot to take that off the menu. Uh,
well, because it's such an old strain, right?
yeah, exactly.
It's
But I wanted
probably
it
hard to
real
find.
bad.
Yeah.
Just cause.
Was it as good as you remembered it?
Oh, I never had it. I was just,
Oh, okay.
this is legend.
Yeah.
I want it.
I wasn't even sure if it was a real strain. It was, if it was just one of those things that people used to say, like, "Ah, I got that Maui Wowie from California." Back when I was a young smoker.
I also once drove an hour and a half to buy some lamb's bread.
Yeah. Was that worth it?
Oh, absolutely. It is my favorite strain I've ever smoked. I had had it once before, and I like it very muchly.
And an hour and a half really isn't that far for something that makes you very happy.
No, we made a trip out of it. There was
Yeah.
a weird little museum sort of art exhibit. This guy that built sculptures in his yard out of trash. And you can always find a place to have a good meal.
Oh, now the cops get high.
But I like going to dispensaries. We will have days where we will go to 3 or 4 dispensaries in different towns.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's an excuse to get out and see the country. And you can always find some weird off the beaten track place to get a meal.
Mm-hmm.
See things you might not otherwise see. And you get to buy weed. But I like going to dispensaries and seeing what they're like, and
It's one of the things I'm excited about going to Vegas for, is to
it's my
check out what the
hobby.
dispensaries are like. Have you
And
been to
here it
dispensaries
is.
in? Good.
I was just gonna say here it is. It's even better than Colorado because all the dispensaries are so far, most of them anyway. They're much less corporate and much more. It looks like some stoners opened a dispensary.
Right. Have you been to dispensaries in all legal states yet?
No, I mean I haven't been to all of them, but I only made it to one when I was in San Francisco because I was there for a very short time.
Counts.
I've been to several in Mass. We were in a hurry when we went through northern New York, and I didn't get to stop. But the only ones we saw were on a reservation, and I've never seen that many dispensaries in one place so close together in my life. It was dozens, dozens in like one little, not even a small town. Like just the space of 3 or 4 miles, I saw dozens of dispensaries.
That's a lot.
Insane.
And so just to get back to the movie real quick, they're trying to entrap Samson, and he has now said like a magic word over and over to try to get the cops to come in. What was
But
that word?
but they got the cops high.
Right, exactly. So the cops aren't coming. Oh, he's wearing a wire.
I believe these women were all stunt women.
I was wondering.
And the director said she didn't get to have as much fun here as she wanted to because it was a comedy and they did not have action movie budget.
Hmm.
To spend days on the fight scenes.
Right. Which is good. This movie is a lean, mean, like 85 or 90 minutes long. I think it was less than 90 minutes long, which I still think is the best length for most, not all, but most comedies. It's hard to be funny for, especially Screwball. It's hard to be funny and ridiculous for more than 90 minutes straight.
Although one of my favorites is totally Screwball. You ever seen It's a Mad, 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 Mad World?
I haven't. It's been one of those movies that's always been on my radar, but I've never actually seen it. Is that longer? Is that a longer movie?
It's damn near 4 hours.
Really?
Yes. It's at
That,
least three and a half.
ugh, that sounds way too long.
But it's not.
Really?
It's never not funny.
Uh-huh. Yeah, okay, so 2 hours and 54 minutes. But still, that's
Okay, I
longer than
exaggerated.
yeah, but you didn't exaggerate by much. That's like Gladiator length.
And I would put it up there with Gladiator, maybe better.
Really? All right, yeah. Maybe this will finally get me to see it. But if it doesn't make me laugh for 3 straight hours, you owe me 90 minutes.
Look, I'll watch it with you.
Let's do it.
And now the cops are high, but they're finally doing their job.
They're high, but they're victorious.
And Kenny's out of jail.
Yeah, Kenny. And he gets back together with his girlfriend because
Which is my least favorite part of the movie.
I know. And then he decides to he's done with weed. He gives weed up. It's a sad ending. It's a sad, heartbreaking ending.
But he's also done that in real life.
Has he really?
Yes.
Yeah, but now I to be fair, I have not seen any of Chappelle's recent comedy specials, but I know that they seem to offend some people. I guess have no opinion on it because I haven't seen them, but it seems like maybe he's
I've seen enough of
angrier. I don't
him
know.
talking about his right to do some what I consider to be hurtful comedy. But I haven't
Yeah.
seen the actual comedy, so
Hmm.
I'm trying not to be judgy.
Yeah, I try as well. At least when we're here. But yeah, there you go. He gets the girl. The friend gets out of prison. He gives up weed, which
And the
and
last line in the movie is pussy.
yeah, that's right. And I thought that it. So the one thing that I misremembered, and maybe it was just me tacking on like an imaginary happier ending, was I thought that there was some like coda where he was like, but I still get high every once in a while or something like that. But I guess that my imagination must have just inserted that.
There is an alternate ending where after they walk away, he comes running back and says, "I'm coming for you," and jumps off the bridge.
Oh yeah. There's Tracy Morgan, Willie Nelson.
Gladys O'Connor
Oh, is that the name of
was the
the?
grandma.
Yes.
Abba Zaba.
Habba zabba, you my only friend. What a line. One of the first movies to have post-credit scenes that I could think of. Obviously, there was the He-Man movie, Masters of the Universe. There was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Those were both in the 80s. But this was at a time when they were not doing a lot of post-credit scenes. Can you think of any other big ones from around this time?
I'm not good at remembering those things.
Yeah, I'm not good at remembering anything except for those things. Not a ton
Background.
of bangers in this soundtrack.
I was about to say the
Oh yeah.
background music. Oh, also, the actual sound, the score of the
Mm,
movie is Alf Clausen.
Ralph Clausen. I know that name.
You certainly do.
I do. I'm gonna feel silly for having to look it up.
He does the score for The Simpsons.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so I've seen his name every single
And
time I watch
and
The Simpsons. Oh, here's the PSA. Don't do drugs. Weed is a gateway drug. Don't do it.
if you will go
Yay.
back and watch this movie now,
Hmm.
knowing that is Alf Clausen doing the score, you will go, "Oh fuck, this sounds like The Simpsons."
And maybe that's one of the reasons why, because when we weren't watching this movie and a handful of other movies on DVD back in the day, we were watching The Simpsons. That was on all the time. Were you a big Simpsons guy back then?
I was not a huge Simpsons guy. Like I watched them all,
Uh,
but it had not
it didn't.
achieved the level of obsession that a lot of other
Gotcha.
things did.
Yeah. And you're not afraid to get obsessed with things.
Oh God, no, no. I have seen Frisky Dingo probably 100 times at this point.
Nice.
I watch it almost every night. I watch a couple episodes of Frisky Dingo. It's
Well, Speaking of watching things late at night and going to bed to them, I know that I'm that's my segue.
It's about time for some frisky dingo.
Yeah,
And
but I would love to watch some mad, however many mad worlds there are with you sometime.
well, there's actually a small weed connection in it even, but
Oh,
probably
nice.
not enough to do this show.
Probably not. Oh, so that one, excuse me, that one might be a little long. Sorry, I have not been sleeping well. My brain is in gloom mode, but this was fun. Glad that we got to watch Half Baked almost twice and talk about it. Uh,
Fun indeed. And I think if you're watching this, we're gonna do a couple more stoner movie revisits.
yeah, maybe next
And
time we'll get another. I think that this is one of the times where the more the merrier for sure. So if you
yeah,
are
yeah,
watching this and you'd like to watch a stoner movie with us, you are invited to,
yeah. Buzz
no
me
matter
in.
who
We
you are.
see if we can't make that work.
Yeah, I would love that. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us, everyone. As long as we can remember our login information next week, we will be back to do things a lot like this again. Maybe not this again. We're not going to watch Half Baked again, but we'll be back and we'll talk about weed.
Or maybe we will.
Maybe we will. All right. Good night, everybody.
Clean your bog. And good night, I guess.